Box 5 TV and Marching Arts Education present Marching Arts Now!
Hello everyone, this is Tim Hinton, the Beast of the Marching Arts. Welcome to episode 7 of Marching Arts Now. On this episode, we highlight college band directors. First off, we talk with 2 college band directors with advice for high school band students. Then we talk with 2 more college directors who join us to look at 4 memorable shows from last weekend. We hear from Barry Morgan about being a BOA contest director. And we present an excerpt from our story with Mike Wells about Plymouth Canton's over-the-top show this year, which you can see at Grand Nationals on Box 5 TV. First up, we talk with 2 college band directors.
Joining us.
Hey everybody, it's Tim Hinton. Today I'm talking with 2 college band directors. Heidi Sarver is here from the University of Delaware. Heidi, how are you?
I'm doing great, Tim. Great to be here.
Thanks for being here. And Dr. Amy Bovin from Texas A&M at Kingsville. Amy, how are you?
Doing great. It's a great morning so far.
Absolutely. So thank you guys for being here. So Heidi, tell us a little bit about where you are and what you do there.
Well, I'm at the University of Delaware. I'm professor of music here. I've been here for 27 years. I'm director of the marching band. I administrate the pep band. I co-conduct the second concert band. And I also teach marching band techniques, show design courses, things like that for music ed majors.
That's great. Amy, how about you?
So this is my first year at Texas A&M Kingsville, and I'm an intern associate director of bands, a visiting assistant professor of music, and I'm the director of the Javelina Pride of South Texas marching band. I'm also directing one of the ensembles, the symphonic band, and I'm teaching courses in music education.
So as both of you described, you guys have nothing going on. You have lots of free time. It's we're all busy, but college band directors work so hard. And that's one of the reasons that we're having this conversation today. As a college band director, what advice would you give to a high school student?
Join band.
Join band.
Join band. Just go and do it. And, it's better to join it and try it and see if it's for you or it's not, than wonder. Not have that opportunity. So join band, get through band camp, and, even if you can get to that first game or that first performance and then see if maybe you don't want to be there anymore. But do it, just do it.
Most of you have been playing your instruments since the 4th, 5th, or 6th grade. And you've put in so many years learning how to play this instrument and all of the fun stuff that you've experienced through your elementary, middle school, high school band careers. How do you just stop doing that? Join band. Amy's 100% right. Is band camp hard? Band camp's awful everywhere. It's no different in college than it is in high school. It's band camp. Nobody else does 3-a-days. We do 3-a-days. It's crazy. But the payoff is when you go out into a college stadium and you've got tens of thousands of people screaming at you in a positive way. I love, one of my favorite things is watching my first year members' faces when they enter the field for pregame at their first game. And it's like, I wonder if they played any notes, but I just love how overwhelmed they are and how that changes to excitement. Join band. It's the greatest thing you can ever do.
Yeah, I think one of my best memories is my first experience of a game, like you were just talking about, my freshman year. All the way back my freshman year, I marched in the UConn, the University of Connecticut marching band, and we used to start our pregame. We would walk into the stadium and be on top of the stadium, and we would be playing the Superman fanfare and then run down the stairs. And that was my first moment, is just standing there and all these people, 40,000 people looking at me. And I remember that moment. And that, it's been almost, for me, it's been almost 20 years, which I can't even believe that. but like 15, 20 years. I can't believe that since my freshman year. And I remember that moment so much. So those are the moments that you are going to have also if you join band.
Well, you're absolutely right about all that. And I probably shouldn't admit this, but I remember the moment 40 years ago when I marched my first pregame show at the University of Tennessee. And
Mm.
I remember it right now. This giant stands with, I think it's 100,000 people, and I'm marching out, and we turn and we start playing down the field. It's very sort of old, pregames are often very traditional. It's very, you're in a line, you're marching across the field. I still remember that to this day. So Amy, you're going to remember that the rest of your life, I promise, because it's super exciting. And college band is completely different in a lot of ways from high school or drum corps or indoor or anything else you've done. It's a different kind of thing. Being at the game is a different kind of experience. I loved it. I mean, I still remember finally how much fun it was to be a part of that college football experience. It's a unique thing in our culture, and being a part of the band means you're part of the show. You're important. You're not just sitting and watching. You are part of everything that's happening. That's very exciting. So I remember, to this day, I still remember that moment.
Right. And I think it's important to note, all of those memories that you're going to get that no matter, even if you're not in a Division I school. We were all in the Division I schools and, in Division II, and there's so many different, every college, every university, wherever there's a band is going to have their own traditions.
Yes.
And the traditions that we have down here at Kingsville they're great. They're just, we have a cannon here. I believe it's from World War II that gets shot off when we get a touchdown. And it's old smoky, and it's like we have this whole tradition with that. And it's so neat to see this. And yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. No matter what
Yeah.
kind of college, big, small, whatever, the experience is going to be great and it's going to be unique. And
Yeah.
I hope that everybody that's watching this decides to take advantage of it, because I loved my experience in college band. Well, Heidi Sarver, Dr. Amy Bovin, you guys were just wonderful. I've so enjoyed this conversation. Thanks for sharing all of your insights and your personal stories. And thanks for being a part of this conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
You can see more of this conversation with these two great college directors on the podcast BOA Today this week. You can also find the entire 35-minute conversation on the Marching Roundtable YouTube channel.
From the box.
And here's an excerpt from our conversation with Barry Morgan, who's a contest director for Bands of America. You can hear the entire conversation with Barry on this week's BOA Today podcast. Hey everyone, it's Tim Hinton from Marching Arts Education. I'm here talking with Barry Morgan. Barry, how are you?
Great. How are you, Tim?
I'm doing great. So everybody watching, you might be interested in what is a contest director? What does that person do? What's their job? We're going to find out from Barry today. So you mentioned helping directors relax. I think that's key, especially if they're maybe new to the Bands of America scene. So what are some of the things that you do to try to help them sort of breathe and calm down as they're starting?
Well, I try to explain to them that there is never going to be a problem that they're going to encounter that we can't solve, that they don't need to worry about that. I'll give you an example. We had a brand new band from in I believe it was Midland, Texas, that had never been to a BOA show before. They were from Colorado. It took them multiple hours to get there. They had an incident with, I believe, their equipment truck that broke down. Well, we're gonna, that director's then gonna come to that check-in highly tense, and we're gonna try to arc that down just a little bit so that they can go back to their students and be relaxed. So there's no problem we can't overcome. We have breaks built in. We'll just move your band from the slot you're normally in until one of those breaks so that your equipment truck can get here. So there's no pressure. Just relax, get out there and do the things that you know how to do with your kids. And interestingly enough, they won their division at that show, and it was totally awesome for a first-time band to be able to win their division at that show.
Absolutely. That's one of those bands that everybody was talking about that we actually talked about on our Marching Arts Now show, because that was a great story. And right. I love that you're talking about keeping everybody calm. I think that's one of the hallmarks of Bands of America events, is that everybody knows they're run like clockwork. There's sort of this calmness and organization to it that when I talked to Debbie Lafferty, she said, this helps the directors and staff, they know exactly what to expect. They can just concentrate on what they're doing and their show. Barry, I was a band director. I've been to shows where it was chaos, and that's very distracting when you want to focus on what you're doing. So I think that's a real service that you and others like you are providing to sort of keep that even keel.
I agree, and Tim, I was a director too, and I was young when I was a director, and back in those days, we didn't have assistants, we didn't have staff. It was whoever I could get to volunteer to come help, and it was myself. And I'm doing the bus list, I'm doing this, so everything to move that band down the road was my responsibility. And so you can take that pressure, especially as a young person, and then meet that out to the kids, and you never want that to happen. You want the kids' experience to be totally relaxed and all of that. And so I try to do that with the directors to make sure that they're giving their best to those students who are going to give their best to the audience, and that's what we all want.
Thanks for all the great work that you do, and everybody watching, when you are at the contest and you see it running like clockwork, think about people like Barry who are behind the scenes making it happen. Barry, thanks for talking. This was great.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tim.
One more time.
Hey, everybody, this is Tim, and I'm here with two college band director today. We are going to be talking about 4 shows that everybody was talking about from last weekend. It's going to be really fun. From the University of Kentucky, Dr. Shayna Stahl. How are you, Shayna?
Great. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. And from the University of Maryland, Dr. Andrea Brown. Andrea, how are you?
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me, Tim.
It's wonderful to see you guys. Thanks for representing the whole world of college directors. No pressure. No, but I know you guys will be absolutely wonderful. So Shayna, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm here at the University of Kentucky. I'm the Director of Athletic Bands and Assistant Director of Bands. So I work with the marching band as well as the pep band and also the concert band as well.
Fantastic. And Andrea?
I am 4th year as the Associate Director of Bands and Director of Athletic Bands at the University of Maryland here in College Park, right outside of DC. I also do some judging in the DCI world, or at least hopefully will be this summer. And I should also say, besides athletic bands, I also I conduct the wind ensemble here and teach conducting.
So thank you for being here. We're going to use your giant college band director brains to give some comments about some shows. Everybody was buzzing about 4 shows from this past weekend's 2 super regionals. The first band is Choctaw High School from Oklahoma.
I was just immediately impressed visually of just how in sync the guard was. Wow. I mean, the flags were like exactly together. I also have to say I have my favorite animal my whole life has been wolves. So I will have to look up and watch the rest of the show. It's very, very cool. Cool concept.
How about you, Shayna?
I would have to agree. I was really impressed with the guard, and they were just so in sync and really in time, and it's kind of a cool outfit too, costume and everything to fit the theme. It's really awesome.
Well, Andrea, if you're looking for something for Halloween, you could go as one of these wolf cuffed guard. I mean, come on, that would be a great Halloween costume. No, I thought it was really cool, and this was one of those new on the scene bands everybody was buzzing about. They made a real splash, so congratulations to everybody there at Choctaw, because everybody was talking about they were the Class AA champions at the Indianapolis Super Regional, so good for them. Next, we're going to talk about Mustang High School from Oklahoma.
From Mustang, Oklahoma, the Mustang High School Marching Band. The Mustang High School Marching Band is under the direction of Brian Edgman with assistance from Jacob Hofer, Cleon Chai, Craig Amen.
So, of course, this was the end of their show as they finished this whole production, and then they go into this as they're leaving the field. Shane, I'll let you go first this time. What did you think?
I thought it was really funny. In some ways, it's kind of awesome. The students looked like they were having so much fun out there, though. And that's what band's all about, is just making sure that they have fun, and they seem to really be enjoying themselves out there.
I mean, who doesn't want to do the baby shark dance before you leave the field at the end of the show?
Exactly.
It's very Bridgman kind of thing. If you're old school like me, you know what I'm talking about. Andrew, what did you think?
Yeah, I first of all, you gotta know, like, somewhere out there, Katy Perry is feeling really good about the legacy that she has left. That there's that many, what was it, Left Shark? I can't remember which. Yeah, the one that was
yeah.
the best in the Super Bowl. But no, it was a lot of fun. Yes, I mean, I think we're going to be living with Baby Shark for the rest of, time. So, and as college directors, we're always thinking about and figuring out ways that we can get, in the crowd to be in those things. And I mean, what a better way than to give them something. Maybe it's not everybody's favorite song, but they can't deny that they know it and they'll move along with it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not like I want to hear Baby Shark, but I got to tell you, I still laughed out loud and was really happy when it happened because it's just so much fun. So kudos to them for sure. Absolutely. All right. The next band we're going to talk about is Sullivan High School from Missouri. They were the Class A champions in St. Louis. Sullivan High School, a smaller band that made a really big splash. Andrea, what did you think about that?
Go front ensemble. Obviously playing to, I mean, I'm sure the rest of the band is fantabulous, but obviously they have big fans of their front ensemble and put them out there, giving them lots of great stuff, and they were going for it, and and everything like really engaged behind it. So very cool.
How about you, Shayna?
I really enjoyed it. I love the creativity that a lot of these bands have and how they can really intertwine some, music that the crowd will know and into their, into the music that they're playing and everything. So I thought it was really creative.
Yeah, the show was called Sky Full of Stars, and I included this clip with the telescopes over on side one because I thought that was such a cool prop, and they used it in such an interesting way. They used it other times in the show as well. But I thought it was really cool. And Andrea, to your point, they did one of those really smart small band things, which is smaller band things, which is they pulled the battery off the field for the ballad and all the way through that segment we just played. And then they threw the drums back on and went back to finish the show. But they got so much music out of their percussion students that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very well thought out. It was really well thought out for sure.
Yeah, and Shayna, they did that thing where they made their stage smaller by having these sort of stars, space props, and made the whole thing small. I thought that was really smart as well.
Well designed, yep. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Okay, the last band we're going to talk about today is Broken Arrow High School from Oklahoma. Okay, well, of course, this is one of those shows where there's so much that happened that like choosing 30-second clip to show was really hard. But anyway, I hope everybody liked that moment that we chose. Shayna, what'd you think about it?
I've always been impressed with this group with having very clean, like choreography and movements and, just being very clean and precise. And you saw that there in the clip too, is that they were just fantastic, honestly.
Definitely, I mean, the design coming to that moment, that was one of those kind of exclamation point moments coming to a big build, and just, what's the different aspects of the guard with the group in the front, and then the kind of response from the group in the back. And I have to also just, shout out to the bass clarinet soloist. Like, that's, you don't hear it every day on the on the turf. So good for them.
Love it. Yep.
Well, I'm telling you guys, that's why I chose this clip, because I was going through the whole show and I'm like, I'm loving that they included this bass clarinet player who was obviously like nails, was such a good musician. And so I loved that too, Andrea. That's why I included this.
Yeah, always fun to see, something that you don't necessarily expect out there.
Yeah, I love it. And of course, the show was about circles. They had the circles and the props. They had lots of circles. So it was circles everywhere, and circles are hard, everybody. Circles are hard on the field.
They weren't doing, at least not in that segment, there weren't any circles in the drill.
There were other spots. There weren't in this moment that I chose. You're absolutely right. But
circles are hard.
And I went to the University of Tennessee, where we were famous for our circle drills. I don't know if everybody knows that, but like the University of Tennessee, pride of the Southland Band, where I went to college, is famous for these circle drills where we make all these circles and they go different directions, and there's all this. Anyway, that was like one of our big things that the band was known for. So I have an affinity for circles, but I do know that they're really hard. If you've ever tried to clean a circle in a marching band show, hard.
Very.
Well, Shayna and Andrea, you guys were absolutely wonderful. Thanks for talking about some shows with me today, and thanks for doing such a great job with your students at your college bands. Back on episode 4 of Marching Arts Now, one of the shows we talked about was the show from Plymouth Canton. That show about the restaurant with chefs and waiters, and it's really over the top. We follow that up this week on the BOA Today podcast with another interview with Mike Wells, band director at Plymouth Canton. You can hear that entire conversation also on the Marching Roundtable YouTube channel. Here's an excerpt of that conversation. Hey, this is Tim, and I'm here with Mike Wells, director of bands at Plymouth Canton Educational Park High School Band. Mike, how are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me. Absolutely.
So congratulations on another great season for the band. Every week we've been doing some band reviews on our special show, Marching Arts Now, and the TX Band guys, one of the categories is, well, what's the most over-the-top thing you saw this weekend? So on week 4 of our special show, they chose Plymouth Canton. We talked about the show on our broadcast. So congratulations on being a talked about band. Everybody's buzzing. It's super fun. There's this crazy scene with the restaurant. The whole field is sort of like a restaurant scene, and many people have seen it. So I just wanted to know, how much fun must this be?
It's a blast. It's definitely a show that the more we talk about with the staff and our designers and the whole team, that, it's one of those things where, well, what about this? And we can add this, and this it'd be cool if we add this, and if we get out a breadstick here and we do that. And every time that we, we have a meeting, and sometimes it's after rehearsal or over lunch, and, food is a very common thing. We all need food, and we're all around food. And so every time that we meet, it's, well, here's a new idea and here's something cool. So it's been a blast to put together, and there's still a ton more that we're adding over the next couple of weeks, and it's exciting.
Well, I think it's fantastic. I mean, I just love that you're sort of just going for it. Like, I mean, if there was ever a year when you're like, well, let's just have fun and go for it, and be like, this feels like the right year for that. What do your students think about getting to perform this show? And I'm sure these great crowd reactions.
They love it. And every time that we're able to share a little bit more about what our plans are, it's amazing to see how excited they get about that. And whether that's the first time that we were able to put together the entire set design on the field, and they saw, because we have meetings, and we told them about, we're gonna have walls and menus and all this, and then once you see it, that's a totally different experience. And so I know that they take pride in the fact that their show is a lot of fun, and that makes it easier for them to perform and more valuable and just more fun for them. And it's exciting that when you know that you have a product that is enjoyable, and whether that's, Timmy Trumpet's grandma that's watching it, they're gonna love that show, or if it's, our awesome seasoned judges that have been doing this for a very long time, they're gonna enjoy the show as well. So there's a little bit of everything for everyone, and the students know that, and because of that, it makes it just a blast every day. Rehearsal is fun, and that's really how it should be. And it's a blast when you know that it's going to be, you know, a memorable performance and a memorable show.
You know, Mike, I always say I want to help design or be a part of a show that's the show everybody's talking about when they walk to their car. There's no doubt that you're one of those shows that everybody's talking about when they walk to their car or after they've watched the broadcast of Box 5 TV, whatever they're doing. I think it's wonderful. You know, I also love that you guys are proving a point that I find really personally valuable, which is that you can be fun and creative and entertaining and score well and do hard things and have a lot of depth. You know, like you guys are proving that yet again.
Yeah, and that's Rick Subel is it's the reason why he's brilliant. You know, we love working with Rick, and we had a lot of discussions early on about how is this going to be perceived. And you know, we had that conversation of if we aren't quality, then it's going to come across as cheesy. And there are certainly cheesy moments. You know, we have purposely put those in there, and there's a lot of those things we're still adding in. But the quality and the education of the students performing, and you know, them playing their instruments well and spinning well and drumming well, that's first and foremost. And then within that, or the results of that, that's how we can do some of the fun stuff.
Well, if you're not going to be there in person, everybody, make sure you're watching on Box 5 TV. You do not want to miss the final iteration of this show that's been growing all season. Mike, great job. Thank you for taking time to talk to me.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Ashley here from Marching Arts Education. We want to know what you're up to on the day of a show. Take a photo of yourself and let us know where you are and who you're watching with, and mention us on Instagram at Marching Arts Education. See you in our stories.
Bring it in.
Coming up this weekend, there are 2 BOA regionals, one in Johnson City, Tennessee, and another in Waco, Texas. Also on Sunday, Box 5 TV presents the New York State Field Band Conference, a big contest up in New York with lots of great bands. There's a lot of great stuff to watch this weekend. Next week, it's all about high school and college color guard captains, including a story about a high school principal who put on a color guard uniform and performed with her high school color guard. A great story. It's going to be a fantastic weekend on Box 5 TV. Thank you so much for watching. This is Tim Hinton, the Beast of the Marching Arts. See you next week.
Box 5 TV and Marching Arts Education present Marching Arts Now.